Well, as you can see, it's an overcast day. Still a beautiful day. It's almost 70 degrees. A very slight breeze. But I'm going to head back home. I'm going to take off that passenger side fender. I'm going to grind down some of the welds. Well, let me restart that. I'm going to fill in the molding holes. Patch the antenna hole, grind down some of the welds, and then work out that little low area. So I figure that'll take me the rest of the day. There's also a site I've been checking out. Another YouTuber goes by the name of vwbusache. I don't know if anybody subscribes to him. I'm sure a couple of you guys are, but he's slowly, meticulously restoring what I guess is his bus. I've never seen the vehicle. I guess, I've subscribed too late to see what the vehicle was. But I've watched him work on a lot of the motor tins is what he appears to be working on. Repairing the areas that are damaged. Sanding, wet sanding, to make them as smooth as possible. And what brought this on was he was restoring one of his license plates. And he has a pretty steady hand. And I passed a comment about it, and he said something back, and I was trying to explain to him that I can't paint that steady of a line. I mean, I'm right-handed. Years ago, I'm trying to think how many years ago it would be. Probably about 10 years ago now, when the Mitsubishi Evo came out. When those cars first came out, people were buying these cars thinking they were drag cars, even though they were rally cars. They were very powerful, all-wheel drive. They came with street slicks on them. They were a very soft compound. And people would just take them out in the street, redline them, and just keep dumping the clutch. So we were getting these cars back with 1,500 miles on them, and the clutches shattered, ripped to pieces. And had one come in, had approximately 1,500 miles on it. And my boss felt bad for the customer. So he undercharged the job 5 hours. Okay, which I couldn't understand. He undercharged the book time 5 hours because he felt bad for the customer. So, I mean, those cars are all-wheel drive. You got to drop down the subframe in the front. It's a to-do to get those transmissions out of those cars to do the clutch. Plus, it requires a bunch of special tools that we didn't have yet because we had just sold the cars. And it's not even like a special tool you can get away with not having. There's special tools just to get the transfer shaft out. You know what I mean? They're these little tools with these little, you would thread them in, then you would like turn a nut, it would pop them out, and you couldn't do it any other way. But that's besides the point. So I decide, okay, I work on commission, piecework, however you want to do it. I got to beat the time. I got to make a living. So the tranny was coming out. It shifted on the jack and pegged my hand/wrist right up against the back of the frame rail. Got it off. I didn't think twice about it. My wrist hurt a little bit. Next morning, I couldn't move it. If I moved it, it felt like somebody was stabbing me with a knife. And you would just like jump and scream. Didn't realize how much damage I did inside. I fractured a couple of those little tiny little bones in there and did some nerve damage and a bunch of other things. So that required a brace on my wrist, between a hard brace and a soft brace of approximately a year, 6 months of rehabilitation to get it to work 90% of the way. And ever since then, my hand doesn't shake, but if I gotta slowly bend it forward, it'll like skip. That's the best way I can describe it. You'll see it actually skip. I guess because of some nerve ending damage, whatever it is on there. So for me to sit there and paint that license plate and go down that edge nice, like he's doing it, would be pretty hard. So, but it doesn't seem to affect anything else besides my handwriting, which was bad before. So, but I mean, there's no pain in it. I got probably 95% of the usage back. Just by constantly, you got it. I mean, when they took the brace off, my wrist didn't bend at all. It was zero bending. Had the brace on 24 hours a day. Because if I took the brace off and I rolled over on it, I would just wake up screaming. So when the brace finally came off and I went to rehabilitation, they had to actually snap it free again, which was quite a joy. I mean, he put it on the edge of the table and warned me, told me what he was going to do. And when he did it, I literally floated off the chair. I can laugh now. It wasn't funny that day. But, yeah, through constant working of the wrist and bending it back and doing certain things, I got like 95% of the usage back of it. So, I mean, I couldn't do simple things. I remember after the brace came off, I remember going on vacation and sitting, you put your legs in the pool and you lean back with your two hands. I couldn't lean back on one. The other one wouldn't bend back far enough. So like I said, when I say something like that, I really do appreciate when I see somebody that can paint a straight line. Not that I'm not telling you I was Van Gogh before I hurt my wrist, but artwork is one thing I was never good at, and it was one thing I always wanted to be good at. I always wanted to be able to draw and paint, and I could never do it, no matter how hard I tried. So my wife could draw, my son could draw. Okay. I know one of my brothers can draw. My mother can draw and paint excellent. But it never came my way. So, like I said, if you guys could check out his site, it's vwbusache. I'll list it on the bottom. Like I said, definitely a good site. As I'm talking, I'm just daydreaming out here looking at the bridge. So, with that, I think lunchtime's over. I think it's time to get back to work. I'm my own worst boss. So let me get back there and start beating on that fender a little.